Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to our channel, where we meticulously dissect the most profound and often painful moments shaping the British royal family. Today, we delve into a story that is not merely one of public scandal, but one of deep personal devastation suffered by a princess who found herself caught in the eye of an unprecedented storm. Princess Beatrice. We are returning to the devastating aftermath of what many now universally recognise as the single biggest public relations blunder in modern royal history. This error committed by her father, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, on the platform of the BBC's Newsnight programme, did more than just damage his reputation. It irrevocably altered the course of his life and cast a long shadow of sorrow over his entire family, particularly his eldest daughter. Before we embark on this detailed and often emotional recount of the crisis, I must ask you, our dedicated audience, to take a moment to engage with this content. If you value this kind of in-depth royal analysis, please remember to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ensure your notification bell is activated so you never miss one of our comprehensive reports. Your support allows us to continue bringing these detailed accounts directly to you. The genesis of the crisis, a decision that cost everything. The catastrophe we are discussing centres around the now infamous televised exchange from 2019. The Duke of York, identified in reports as the 65-year-old Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, chose to participate in the Newsnight interview following the death of the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The purpose of this interview was ostensibly to clear the air, to offer transparency, and to finally address the persistent damaging speculation regarding his past links and association with the disgraced financier. However, as history has definitively recorded, the outcome was precisely the opposite of the intended damage control. The interview rapidly devolved into what media critics and royal commentators alike labelled an unmitigated disaster. A moment of profound self-inflicted harm that directly led to the Duke's complete withdrawal from public life in the subsequent stripping of his most treasured royal privileges. To understand the personal cost, we must look behind the scenes, specifically at the agonising preparation leading up to that broadcast. This was not a spontaneous decision. It was a carefully planned, though fatally flawed, strategy session. According to detailed reporting from the Mirror, a crucial meeting was convened in advance to meticulously discuss the proposed content, the potential lines of questioning, and the overall narrative approach that the Duke would take. Crucially, Princess Beatrice was present at this highly sensitive gathering, the princess's burden advising her father. The very notion of a daughter sitting in a room advising her father on how to publicly defend his connections to a notorious paedophile speaks volumes about the immense pressure placed upon Princess Beatrice at this time. She was not just a supportive family member. She was viewed as a crucial strategic asset. Sam Mallister, one of the key executives involved in securing and preparing for the groundbreaking interview, later offered a poignant insight into Beatrix's demeanour during those discussions. Mallister revealed the profound difficulty faced by the eldest daughter of the York household. It was, she observed, incredibly hard for Beatrix to witness her father, the Duke of York, actively discussing his relationship with the deeply controversial financier. This context is vital. Beatrice was privy to the full scope of the potential danger, yet she was also bound by filial duty, attempting to guide her father through a labyrinthine public relations nightmare of his own making. The atmosphere must have been thick with tension, anxiety, and the terrifying knowledge that the family's future hung precariously on the Duke's performance. When the interview finally aired, the response was immediate and violently negative. The public reaction was not just critical. It was outright hostile, characterised by widespread disbelief and deep disappointment over the Duke's perceived lack of contrition, and his bizarre specific recollections such as his claim that he could not sweat, and his recollection of a specific pizza restaurant in Woking. For Beatrice, the immediate public humiliation translated into devastating private grief. The tears that followed the broadcast, the personal repercussions for Princess Beatrice, were immediate and prolonged. Insiders close to the York family shared harrowing details regarding her emotional state in the wake of the broadcast. The sheer magnitude of the failure and the subsequent media frenzy that erupted sent shockwaves through the family unit. Reports indicated that around the time of her 36th birthday, Beatrice was profoundly affected. She was described as being quite tearful at times, a state of distress that persisted well beyond the initial shock. An insider tragically confirmed the depth of her pain, revealing that the princess has been in tears every day since the interview went out. This statement paints a picture of unrelenting emotional agony. Imagine the weight of watching your father, a senior member of the royal family, execute a maneuver intended to salvage his reputation, only to see it end in total public annihilation. The mortification felt by Beatrice was not merely embarrassment. It was a deep, soul-crushing realization of the catastrophic damage done to the Mountbatten-Windsor name and the irreversible harm to her father's standing. The source further elaborated on the crucial, albeit overwhelming, role Beatrice played within the family dynamic. Both Sarah and Andrew rely on Beatrice's judgment a lot when it comes to dealing with the public, as she's got an old head on young shoulders. This phrase, old head on young shoulders, highlights the impossible burden she carried. While both the Duke and the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, sought her counsel, trusting her innate sense of public propriety and modern sensibilities, the circumstances surrounding the Newsite interview were simply insurmountable. The insider acknowledged the tragic impossibility of her position. You can't really blame Beatrice, because I think the odds were stacked against her on this one. Despite her best efforts, and despite the maturity she displayed in attempting to navigate this treacherous situation, Princess Beatrice was ultimately left mortified by the disastrous outcome of her father's presence on the news night. The failure was so profound that no amount of preparation or good judgment could have saved it from its inevitable destructive trajectory. The institutional severance from HR to commoner, the personal anguish experienced by Beatrice, was a direct reflection of the institutional collapse that followed for Prince Andrew. The interview's fallout was swift and total. Within days, the Duke announced his decision to step back from all public duties, a move that quickly escalated into a formal stripping of his official roles. The public outcry demanded accountability, and the monarchy under the late Queen Elizabeth II and now King Charles III had to respond decisively to protect the integrity of the institution. Andrew lost his military affiliations, a deeply personal and painful loss given his service history. He was also stripped of his numerous royal patronages, severing decades-long ties with charitable organisations and institutions. More symbolically, and perhaps most devastatingly for a royal born second in line to the throne, Andrew was forced to cease using the style of His Royal Highness HR in any official capacity. This was an unprecedented move, cementing his status as a royal outcast, virtually exiled from the central workings of the monarchy. For the York family, this meant a dramatic shift in their public standing and financial arrangements, further cementing the financial and emotional reliance they placed upon their daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, who have attempted to maintain their own professional lives while navigating this continuous familial crisis. How the finality of the King's decision. The narrative of Prince Andrew's fall has been ongoing, but it reached a significant and likely final inflection point very recently. Despite the initial stripping of his HR style and military titles, certain honours and styles related to his peerage remained under review, pending the slow, methodical process of institutional change and legal consideration. However, the difficult position of the Yorks has intensified following a crucial confirmation from the reigning monarch, King Charles III. King Charles, recognising the enduring damage and the necessity of maintaining the monarchy's strict standards of public conduct, has confirmed that he initiated a formal process to remove the remaining style titles and honours held by Andrew. This decisive action comes specifically after the resurfacing of links and persistent public scrutiny related to Jeffrey Epstein. While the monarchy prefers discretion, the public nature and severity of the allegations and the Duke's handling of them necessitated this final institutional severance. The removal of these final honours is not merely a bureaucratic process, it is the ultimate stamp of finality on Prince Andrew's royal career. It signifies that the consequences of that single disastrous news appearance and the connections that necessitated it are permanent and irreversible. It confirms that the mistake the 65-year-old Duke of York made on that public platform was indeed the biggest mistake of his life. A mistake that continues to echo through the halls of the palaces and most painfully in the private life of his daughter, Princess Beatrice. A daughter's loyalty amidst public shame. The tragedy of Princess Beatrix's situation lies in the duality of her existence. As a royal, she is expected to embody stoicism and resilience. As a daughter, she is forced to watch her father endure one of the most comprehensive public humiliations in royal memory, all while relying on her for emotional and strategic guidance. The burden placed upon her during that pre-in preparation was immense. She was expected to provide a fresh, modern perspective to a generationally entrenched royal who fundamentally misunderstood the public mood and the gravity of his situation. When the plan failed, the resulting shame was borne not just by the father, but by the daughter who had tried desperately to navigate the impossible currents. Her tears, reported daily since the broadcast, underscore the profound personal cost of royal scandal. While the public focuses on titles and military affiliations, the family must grapple with the emotional fallout, the isolation, the relentless scrutiny, and the knowledge that a single hubristic decision has fundamentally reshaped their lives. The recent move by King Charles III to formalise the removal of the remaining honours brings a painful closure to this chapter for the institution, but perhaps not for the York family. For Princess Beatrice, it is a confirmation that the difficult position she and her family occupy is now a permanent reality rooted in the consequences of the 2019 interview. This saga serves as a stark reminder that even within the highest echelons of society, personal errors have public consequences, and those consequences often fall hardest on the innocent family members left to pick up the pieces. This comprehensive look into the devastating fallout of the Newsite interview reveals a story of duty, failure, and the deep emotional toll exacted upon a loyal daughter. We have explored the context of Prince Andrew's catastrophic choice, the critical role Princess Beatrice played in the ill-fated preparation, and the profound daily suffering she endured in the aftermath, culminating in King Charles III's recent decisive action to remove the remaining vestiges of the Duke's official life. What are your thoughts on Princess Beatrix's position? Do you believe the sheer weight of the circumstances meant the odds were truly stacked against her? Or could the family have handled the crisis differently? We want to hear your educated opinions on this complex royal situation. Please share your insights in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching this detailed analysis. If you found this script informative and compelling, please do remember to like this video, subscribe for more in-depth royal reporting, and share this with others who follow the intricacies of the British monarchy. Until our next deep dive, take care.